The time has finally come, and the Oscars are this weekend. The Oscars are basically like my Super Bowl. All of my movie going throughout the year just build up to this moment. I've made another video talking about the fact that my end of year goal is to see 75 different movies in theaters this year. I saw about 51 movies in 2025, so I'm familiar with a lot of the Oscar contenders. I will say not all of them, and it's really not Oscar season unless there's a couple movies that you've never heard of that just sweep a bunch of nominations. And sometimes awards. So basically, I just want to talk about who and what will be taking home Oscars this weekend. We're gonna save the best for last, but it's not necessarily to build suspense. I just think it's kind of obvious. Some of these are gonna be complete and total guesses, starting with Best Documentary Short. I haven't seen any of these this year. So I'm gonna kind of go out on a limb here, and I think that the only one that I personally have heard of, I have not seen it because it seems heavy, is All the Empty Rooms. Now, I can't really speak to, the filmmaking of it because I haven't seen it once again, but I think especially in some of these documentary categories, what truly, truly matters is the impact. Just from hearing about it and watching the trailer, this one seems incredibly impactful. So it definitely could win. All right, also going out on a limb here for Best Live Action Short, I'm gonna go The Singers. Now, I haven't seen this either, or any of the ones in this category for that matter, but this one has been recommended to me by my parents who thought it was absolutely phenomenal. So that's what I'm gonna go with. For Best Animated Short, I have not seen any of these films either, but just looking at the different styles of animation, I'm gonna say The Girl Who Cried Pearls. I'm pretty sure that this is a stop motion animation. I love stop motion, so if it is, I really, really hope that wins. Best visual effects, I feel like, has to be a shoo-in for Avatar. I mean, the visual effects in Jurassic World were absolutely phenomenal, but like all of Avatar just is revolutionary visual effects. It's gonna win. It was stunning. It's kind of sidebar. Out of all the Avatar movies, this one was the weakest, but visually, still completely stunning. You just forget that it's computer generated. All right, for Best Sound, I have seen almost all of these movies, and I think F1. I was surprised that F1 got any nominations at all. Like, it's a movie that I went and saw and then kind of forgot about, so I'm surprised that it showed up at the Oscars, but if it was gonna win one of the awards, I think it would be Best Sound. Now, Best Production Design, Frankenstein. It has to be Frankenstein. No hesitation, I think it's Frankenstein. I think it was just beautiful, whimsical, grotesque in a way. Absolutely fabulous. Frankenstein is taking Best Production Design. If not, I will be mad. So, Best Makeup and Hairstyling, I would say is also gonna be Frankenstein. I think that's one that there's like no doubt in my mind. Production design, I could see going somewhere like Sinners or Hamnet. None of the other competitors even require the same level of makeup and hairstyling that Frankenstein did, and their execution was just so unique and so flawless. Best Casting, guys. Oh! This is a big one. So if you didn't already know, Best Casting is a new category. This is the first year that this award is being given out. After many, many discussions about new categories that were needed at the Oscars, Best Casting is the first new category added in years. Future Sophie, put it up. I feel a lot of pressure just making a prediction for this one, and I hope that members of the Academy are feeling the pressure because, like, this is new. This is big. Whoever they pick to take home this award sets the tone for all future winners. I'm stuck between Sinners and Hamnet, but I'm gonna go with Sinners. Because it's an ensemble piece, I feel like it's that much harder to make these casting decisions because you're not just making casting decisions and saying, hey, we need this person and this person to get along and to have on-screen chemistry. You need this guy and that girl, and like every single person is crossing over. Every single person has to mesh. They have to make sense on screen. Sinners definitely did that. Best Film Editing, Sinners. I feel like it's Sinners. I think it's Sinners. Like, editing is my thing. It's something that I pay attention to, and the one that stuck with me the most was Sinners. I will say one battle after another had some good editing moments, but it's just none of it really stuck out to me in the way that Sinners editing did. Sinners is really not that scary of a movie. I was hesitant to see it at first because I thought it was going to be scary. It was not that bad, but one of the scares in the movie wasn't even a jump scare necessarily, but like had me jump out of my seat because of the way that it was edited. That's damn good editing. Best Costume Design. Okay, here's my thing. I think it's gonna go to Frankenstein, but I would have liked to see it go to Avatar. I think that people do just genuinely take a lot of the Avatar movies for granted. They're not just designing costumes in those films, they're designing costumes for like fictional bodies, and they're having to design them in a way that can be transferred over to visual effects and computer generation. Like, it's mind-blowing. I don't think they're gonna get it. I really wish it would. That being said, like, Frankenstein is going to be sweeping a lot of those visual categories. Guillermo del Toro has such a unique style. In this movie, it was really presented specifically through the costuming, the hairstyling, the production design, so it's going to be taking those home. Best cinematography, Sinners. Need I say more? I don't need to say anything more. Actually, I'm already so excited. I know she's gonna win, and I'm so excited for it. Oh, none of the movies in this category compare to how visually stunning Sinners was through its cinematography. None of them. Best original song. Oh no. I was like just talking to, I think, my roommate the other day about this category. That I honestly, I don't know. Golden and I Lied to You are the front runners here. And I don't know. It's like apples to oranges. I don't know who I think is gonna win, and I don't even know who I want to win. I feel like I lean more towards I Lied to You winning. I think it's so, but I also think that Golden just had a moment. And an important thing to remember is that the Oscars, they're not exactly objective, they're a little bit subjective. Up until recently, members of the Academy weren't even required to watch all of the films put forward, much less listen to the songs, probably. The Oscars center around campaigns because you have to convince these people to watch your film. Studios will be sending like promotional packets to members of the Academy trying to convince them this film is worthwhile. That being said, Golden had a moment. More than a moment. It's still an ongoing moment. And Golden is a really good song. I'm just like rambling. Like I don't even know. I think Golden's gonna take it. I think that I Lied to You could. I've personally feel like I Lied to You is the best song on there. I think it's better than Golden. However, I think Golden's gonna win. But I think a lot of its win can be attributed just to the fact that it had the public campaigning for it. You know? I think they're more competitive in this category. Best original score, Sinners. Hands down. That score is one of the best things I've heard in the past decade. It is so phenomenal. I love Ludwig Göransson. I'm not even sure if I'm saying that correctly. That's how I've always said it, and I say it a lot. I was first introduced to his music through The Mandalorian, which was great. And then I heard his music when he worked on Tenet. Can You Hear the Music from Oppenheimer? Is my ringtone. I love this man. His music is just, it's changing the game. And he's able to just change his style so drastically between films. Like listening to the score of Sinners versus Oppenheimer versus The Mandalorian, you wouldn't even recognize that it's the same composer. It's incredible. Oh, and he did the music for Black Panther. I forgot. He's prolific. I need to calm down. I love his music. I was blown away by the music in Sinners because it's legitimately pivotal to the plot of the film, and it becomes a character within itself. I cannot even begin to say how amazing it is. And I could keep trying, but I cannot. I'm gonna leave it there. Okay, best documentary feature. So the only one out of these that I've seen, which I have seen a lot of hype for, is The Perfect Neighbor. I think that one is gonna win. Once again, they're playing the game. They're being competitive. I didn't really like it though. It was a good documentary. It was very impactful, and I think it talked about very important social issues. And we forget that we're all human, and we just need to have compassion for one another. And yeah, be a perfect neighbor. Be kind to one another. Things can escalate so quickly when there is that level of disconnect between people. However, I watched this documentary because I heard so much about how revolutionary it was to have a documentary told exclusively through body cam footage, security footage, so on and so forth. I don't know about you guys, but I was watching it being like, yeah, YouTube's been doing this for years. Are you kidding? Just earlier today, I was watching a true crime video that was telling the story through body cam footage. YouTube has been doing that. It was unique for Netflix, sure. For the internet at large, not at all. Not at all. So I think that one's gonna win, but honestly, I'm a little peeved about that one. Best animated feature, K-pop Demon Hunters. No competition there. K-pop Demon Hunters. That movie is really phenomenal. I really like animated movies, and my mom doesn't, and I convinced her to watch it, and she liked it. She doesn't like animated movies, and she thought it was great. I think it's got really great messages. I think it spans across generations. These characters are just relatable in their strengths and in their struggles, and I'm waiting for K-pop Demon Hunters 2. So, Best international feature, I think Sentimental Value. And once again, this is something I have not seen any of these, but when people are talking about it, that is one of the most important things in the race to win an Oscar. Okay, adapted screenplay. I think One Battle After Another is going to win for adapted screenplay. I thought it was a really good screenplay. The dialogue was just very like rapid fire, and it was tense, but it was funny and it was political. The dialogue really maintained the momentum of the film. I don't really know anything about the source content, but just out of these screenplays, I think that one was the most impressive. And unfortunately, I feel like One Battle After Another, it got a ton of nominations. I don't think it's going to win many, but I think it's going to take that one. Best original screenplay? Sinners. 100% Sinners. Because it's original. Even at the Oscars, there's still a lack of originality in so many places, but Sinners was unique and innovative through and through. Give it the Oscar, and then give it 20 more. I think Best Supporting Actor would be Jacob Elordi. That's what I think. Sean Penn's performance in One Battle After Another, though, it was very, like, disturbing and yet amusing, and it was memorable, you know? So I really think it's going to be between the two. My pick would be Jacob Elordi. I thought his performance was great, especially when you're working with all those kinds of like prosthetics and heavy costumes. He really flourished underneath all of that still, and that was impressive. Best Supporting Actress. Supporting categories are really hard. I think Wunmi Mosaku is going to win. I'm not sure I pronounced that right. I thought she was incredible. And out of the whole ensemble cast of Sinners, I thought her character was really almost a center point of it all, because she really like grounded the story and the characters. And I mean, especially in the very end of the film, like, she was just phenomenal. Best Actor. It's really interesting because a week ago, everybody was saying it's probably going to be Timothée Chalamet. And I do agree. I think it's between Timothée Chalamet and Michael B. Jordan. Since Timothée Chalamet has made some comments that people have deemed offensive about the ballet and opera industries and communities, people are now saying it's going to go to Michael B. Jordan. Here's my question, and I'm going to look it up. So Oscar voting closes on Thursday the 5th. I might be crazy, but I feel like maybe there wasn't enough time for Timothée Chalamet's comments to have really made that much of an impact on Oscar voting. You know? Second of all, I think Timothée Chalamet has been campaigning for it a lot more than Michael B. Jordan, because I think Sinners has been campaigned for by the public as a whole, but Timothée Chalamet has been making a very, very aggressive campaign for the Oscar. Third of all, Sinners was very much an ensemble piece, and I think it was also digested that way. Michael B. Jordan's performance, amazing. He was playing two people, and they were both so recognizable as separate entities, and you forget that he's just one person. But I came out of that movie being like, wow, this movie is insane. Not really being like, wow, Michael B. Jordan really, really stood out. I felt like the movie was defined by its ensemble, not by his individual performance, versus, you know, Timothée Chalamet had a leading role that was very much a just him role. I don't know, I feel like it's gonna go to Michael B. Jordan. Whether that has anything to do with what Timothée Chalamet has said in the past week, no idea. Not a clue. I feel like this one's gonna be tight, though. So I'm not sure. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong. Best Actress, Jessie Buckley. She's taking it. I don't know if y'all have been watching. She has taken home, like, every single award she's been up for. She is sweeping. She's taking this Oscar. 100,000% she's taking it. I did see Hamnet. Her performance was so raw and striking and, like, spiritual. Like, you really go on this journey with her character. It's insane. She's taking that Oscar. Best Director, Ryan Coogler. It's got it. Ryan Coogler. Like, from the cinematography to the hair to the costumes to the actors to the score, every bit and piece of it worked together to paint this beautiful picture. To paint that cohesive picture, that's his job. Killed it. He should win it. He should win it. Best Picture? Best Picture is Sinners. If anybody else takes home the Best Picture, I'm throwing a fit. I'm throwing a fit. I'm not going to even be able to watch the Oscars live, but I'm going to be looking at these live updates, just waiting to find out. I know a lot of people have been talking about One Battle After Another being like a close contender for Best Picture. It was special. It really was. However, like, let's look back at all of the other categories. Like, at least my picks, Sinners is winning. Sinners is winning. Sinners is winning. And that's not to say that you have to win a bunch of other awards to win Best Picture. But I do think it means something when your film has set records for the amount of nominations, is going to set records for the amount of wins. You can't tell me that that movie isn't going to be the best picture. There's no way it's not best picture. Anyways, I really want to know how this turns out. It has been a really, really intense, competitive, creative, and compelling year for movies. So this Oscars is going to be historic for many, many different reasons. I'm curious to know what everybody else thinks. What are your picks versus what are your predictions? How terrible are mine? I'm going in blind on some of these. And yeah, I'm really, really excited to see how this turns out. So, yup.